We're gonna welcome everybody to Sit Down at Uptown. Sit Down at Uptown, Uptown Comedy Corner, man. And we're privileged to have the great Benji Brown, straight out of Miami, Florida. Benji Brown, man. Welcome back to Uptown, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. Uptown, when it comes to Uptown, man, there's no other comedy club in the great city of Atlanta that, gives comedians the platform, give them, the exposure necessary, man, to make a mark in this game called comedy.
What's up, man? It's been a while since we had you up here, man. I looked at the thing, it was 2018.
Yeah.
So you've seen the transformations of Uptown Comedy Corner. You know what I mean? Now you've been to every room. But tell me how you like the new room.
I love the new room. You know what I'm saying? It's my first time coming to this new location, and obviously with any time there's a new location, you're curious. Make sure you're curious as to how the room is going to look, how it's going to feel. I never worried about how it was going to be set up because the Uptown brand is such that it gives you that intimate feel. Some clubs, the seats are people too far away from the stage. I never thought for me, and still it rings true. Uptown knows how to set the tone, set the room. It's an intimate feel. It's not too small and it's not too big. It's just right for comedy. You know what I'm saying? And, the new room is electric. I was not worried. I was wondering, will I feel that electricity? And I think the brand just follows. No matter where Uptown is stationed. It just doesn't matter. The name, the reputation of the brand precedes itself. I was exceeded my expectations this weekend. And the first thing I thought of at the conclusion of my final show was how much I can't wait to get back.
Oh man, that's beautiful, brother. Yeah. That's beautiful, brother. So Benji, let's take a trip back for a minute. Talk about the origins of Benji Brown in the comedic world.
Tell a lot of people it started, elementary school. Okay. Days off from school, mom's at work. This is before social media, it's before the internet. Yeah. So you had to make your fun, man. And so I was doing a lot of prank calls on the phone, playing Russian roulette with the phone book. Randomly, selected any number and name I saw. I used to be in there, just calling people, making up noises.
Can I speak to Margaret Thatcher? I need your recipe for chicken noodles.
And they'd be like, okay. They would just talk to me. Old man calling the hospital, I need my pills. Just making fun. You know what I'm saying? That was the origins. I didn't know I was doing voices, I didn't know. But over time, I realized, wait a minute. I think I got a gift. And, as you grow up in that game, you start doing talent shows, you start doing open mics, you name it. And, one thing leads to another, and you start feeling, thinking that, this might be your purpose, and you follow your purpose, you follow your gift, and you start sharing it with the world.
Gotcha. That's what's up. So, your first time on stage was where? And who brought you up? Do you remember?
Yeah. Miami, he had a spot called Studio 183 down there. A lot of big shows were being held. I remember hearing it on the radio, a lot of commercial ads and stuff like that. And then Living Color was out. David was doing a tour with, Jamie Foxx, Tommy Davidson, Jim Carrey, those guys. And then they had a smaller room. It was a building with multiple rooms, and they had a smaller room called the Jazz Room. And like 96, fall of 96, Marvin Dixon, he was hosting that room. Okay. And I remember my first time on stage. My first time, in comedy, I did the big no-no. I thought comedy was just make people laugh. I recited Eddie Murphy's Raw. I was up there, doing Eddie Murphy's Raw. I was telling some jokes about Mr. T, and Mr. T was gonna fuck it up. I heard you tell some jokes about that. No, you didn't, baby, I didn't. And I did good, but I was told that no, you don't do that. You make your own jokes. You talk about your life or anything, but just don't, repeat someone else's intellectual property. And that was the first time I did good. I think I did good. Well, the thing that I got that I would say I proved that I had a good memory. I memorized Eddie's lines.
Oh wow.
But as I really start getting the nuances and start studying the greats, we didn't have YouTube. Now you can go to YouTube and study old footage of greats. Back in those times, I would pull out old VHS tapes or something of Eddie, Richard, listen to Richard Pryor records. I had all those records, and just start paying attention to with records. You pay attention to Richard Pryor's time. When I was watching old clips of Eddie Murphy's Delirious, Raw and stuff like that, I was studying stage presence. And then Martin Lawrence came along, and I started studying his animation, being real animated on stage. And I started incorporating a lot of what both of those guys, the Eddies, the Richards, and Martin, and kind of tailored it to what I could for my characters and voices.
Okay. So speaking of the voices, you have a character that has took on the world by storm, man. Where did Kiki come from?
Kiki came. She originated because a woman, the girl, she failed to disclose to me that she lived with a man. So when he answered the phone, I had to think quick. Yo, deep way, hey, hello. I'm like,
hello, may I speak to Toya?
He's like, yeah, hold on. And when the girl got the phone, I kept talking like Kiki. I was like, she's like, hello.
Why you tell me you had somebody, girl?
Hold it.
You don't know me, just meet me at the wash house.
The wash house. And it worked. I was alive. But I started, when I did comedy, Ricky Smiley was hosting comedy. And he was about to bring me on, and I was always doing the voice. I never gave her a name. Ricky was doing all his, Uncle Birmingham, talking all that. And he was about to introduce me, y'all give it up for Miami. Think of the name, come on, something, a ghetto name or something that is short for a lot of names. I don't know why. Actually, I made it up on stage. Comedy, you're supposed to know what you're gonna do. I don't know why I took a chance. It was the best chance I ever took. Wow. I start talking about girl fighting, what I'm saying? Girls are screaming, hey, you got a girl trying to help you and you getting beat up.
Kiki, she scratched your face. Oh, God, that girl scratched me. Kiki, we in the ambulance. We at your funeral.
And women just started falling in love with the name Kiki. I'd be going through the airport, out in public, and they don't even call me my Benji. It was going through TSA. Hey, Kiki. Hey. I mean, hey.
Wow.
But and we've been together since, man. Since day one. Just a popular character. One that people, especially the black community, can relate to. I always tell people, either you're Kiki, your sister's Kiki, you got a cousin that like your mom, somebody. Kiki can be short for so many names, but she has a personality that everybody has met one. Yeah.
So when you're on stage, right, and you're feeling the energy, does it lead you to different directions in terms of where you're going with the show? Is it like spontaneous when you switch it up? How do you function on that stage?
Well, normally I'm a huge football fan, so I try to take. Yeah, I grew up in Miami Dolphins, homegrown, and it's just like offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. They come up with the game plan, the script. That first drive normally is perfect, and sometimes I can speak for myself, but and maybe a few comedians. You have an idea of what you want to do, set wise. But every market is different. Every city, they have a different lingo. They got different inflections. They got different ways of how they do things and say things. And sometimes, you know, you can engage the crowd, the energy, the feel, and you know, sometimes I feel like Peyton Manning up there. You know, sometimes when the crowd is, you know, every crowd is different too. Every city's different. So if the energy is not flowing the way you want, you know, I call audible real quick, and I try to find out what's working, and then and I get the crowd gives me a kind of a notion, a feel of we loving it. And then I keep it's like a running back, you know. You see it all the time. Some people get mad. Think it's like, wait a minute, the running game was why he started throwing the ball. And that's me. The crowd started loving something. I'm gonna keep feeding my running back, and eventually he's gonna bust me. Or I'm gonna go for a bomb, a fleet play, and mix it up. I'm one of those comedians that, you know, I feel like LeBron in the sense of, you know, I got good vision. I can see the whole court. I can see the whole room. I can feel where the energy's coming from. Like on a certain side of the stage, if I feel the energy's on that side, I'll balance the room like a play. You know, you want about equal amount of people sitting in the front, the middle, and the back. You don't want the plane, you know, tilting. And so I know I got the right stage right. They feeling me. I'm gonna bring the stage left. You know, I just want the scales to be balanced. And a lot of times I can know what I'm gonna do 5 minutes from now. Like I'm setting it up. It's like I'll get into a good rhythm, calling plays, and I know event like what I'm gonna say. Like, oh, they loving this now. I got like 3 jokes from now. They're gonna understand why I said this 3 minutes ago, or why I'm saying this right now. You know, it's amazing. It's like a magic show for me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you've been in the game how many years now?
This is 26 years in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge,
That's
brother.
crazy, man.
That's huge, brother.
Well,
So what do you tell the young comedians that come to you in terms of your longevity?
2 things. One is, a lot of comedians, you get excited when you're starting out because you might be a huge, you look up to a certain comedian or a few, and you want to have instant gratification. You want to experience the amount of success, the same amount that they're experiencing, and it's a process. You know, you gotta keep getting on stage. That's the main advice I always give comedians. Get on stage as much as you can. Start working on your skills, your craft, hone in, find your niche, find your voice. Comedians, we have it tough because we don't have too many opportunities to try out material, work out material. Athletes have a gym or a court. You know, singers and rappers and musicians or whatever, they have studios they can go to and just work out. Comedians, we're not afforded with that resource as much as they are. So I think it's like a gym, you know. The stage to me for a comedian is a treadmill. And the more you keep doing, getting your repetitions, you're gonna be in great shape. That's one. And number 2, I always tell comedians to, my advice is to find a lot of times comedians, you can be funny. I mean, that's the funniest person on stage that anybody's ever seen, you know, somebody's ever seen. But they, you know, hey man, I went to the comedy show, went to Uptown last night, and you know, you had work the next day. Man, I was at Uptown last night. The comedians, oh my God, so funny. You know, really? What did he say? What did she say? I just know it was just funny. It's crazy. I can't remember. That tells me you have to leave the crowd with something to, like, you got to be memorable.
Gotcha.
You have to, whether it's a slogan, a saying, something that they can remember, and then they will start associating you with that saying and that joke, and it starts to take on life of its own. That's what big corporations do. They always try to find that slogan. I always used to listen to it as a kid. You know, this game has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Levi's Cotton Dockers, relax, you're among friends. Toyota, I love what you do for me. You know, stuff like that. Or everybody, when you hear the
That's right.
you already know, you sing that tune, you ain't thinking about no other thing. Hey, Popeyes, that's McDonald's, I'm loving it. You got to leave people remembering, you know, what you did. You know, that's the biggest key. And that's where you start, you know, developing the merchandise, endorsement deals. You know, you come up with a saying, everybody's saying all of a sudden, it's a bumper sticker, it's a t-shirt, it's something, it's a coffee mug. You know, you just breathe life into it. Whatever you're doing, it can take off.
That's what's up. That's good stuff. You just spoke right there, man. So how do you balance? Just like you said earlier, when you came up, there was no YouTube, there was no social media. So how do you balance that now, the social media? Because there's always been this controversy with older comedians versus social media age. How do you balance that?
Well, you know, I feel I'm fortunate to have adapted to the social media era, just adapted and evolved. And you know, in anything, you got to evolve. You can't, you know, say the same. And I salute a lot of the comedians who they didn't start during the time that I started or before they came along and started doing the era of social media, social media apps, whether it's YouTube, Vine, and TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think you have to, because that's a whole platform. It's a network for entertainment, content, and market promotions and marketing. And that's a digital space. So you got the classifications of creatives and digital, creators and stuff like that. That's a whole nother world. And you got people, if you don't translate to the social media, you'll kind of be apprehensive to support it. A lot of comedians or entertainers or whoever, they seem, you see it all the way, all around. Sometimes you get bitter, and some of the social media company, everyone's paying attention to social media. Everything, you have to adapt to the time. Everything that you want. If you want to order a pizza, you can do it at your fingertips. You want to ride, you catch Uber, it's at your fingertips. You at work, you want to just pass the time. You got a little time between meetings, you want to get a quick laugh, you can go and scroll and just get you a little break or unplug a little bit. You tap in, everything is at your fingertips.
Right.
And so, when you have guys back in the days, promoters, they would pass out flyers and be in parking lots. They call that the grassroots. Man, you can reach. I mean, it's the old, story with the person going to get a pail to keep water in the village, for drinking and washing clothes and doing stuff. But there's somebody who's smart and say, I'm gonna build a pipeline, and I'll have water distributed to the village quicker, cutting out and working smarter, and then instead of having a pipe going to the reservoir, I'm gonna take it a step further and keep evolving. I have an individual pipe going into people's homes. And while that one person, I just like to get on and get up early in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock, going with, and I hire help to go get you get a pail, I get a pail, everybody get a pail. Social media to me is that pipeline that you can reach millions of people. Not in a concentrated area, all over. And you can start buying ad space and just focus on a specific area, And so, you can't be bitter and stuck in the mud and quicksand, not adapting, because man, you will get left behind. There's a lot of comedians who have taken bullet damage, Shout out to people like that. Back in the days, if it was like a 85 South show, but you only could see it live, it probably would have gained traction, but it would have taken more time. You get social media now, and it is taking off. So shout out to the Jessica Larrys, the Ha Days, the DC Young Flies, the Desi Banks of the world, and stuff like that. They have taken social media and grabbed it by the horns and did what you're supposed to do with social media, which is reach the masses. And you create content. They provide a service, man, and they're providing laughter, and then they're actually translating on stage. I look at my guys like Mike Epps, and it feels good to look at a flyer or a publication. It's like, wow, a show coming to that theater, and guess who? Some comedians who was on social media too. Bill Bellamy, everybody, all these big names are getting guys, and I appreciate them for welcoming, that new age of comedians. It's a crazy good new batch of comedians that's coming on, and instead of trying to be gatekeepers and put a roadblock in the pathway to keep them from accelerating or elevating. Creating an opportunity in the space that we all can benefit from. Yeah.
That's right. All right, so I got one last question, then a request. The question is, what is Benji's future goals in the game? Like, what is it that you haven't accomplished yet that you still are looking for?
Yeah. Good question. I am, the future is probably, in my mind, my opinions right now. I've been working on a few projects. One is a situational comedy that will be in development for network television, and also some obvious other projects that have involved film as well. So to me, that's missing. I think independence on the banners and stuff like that, and not just on the belt that will be taking place. And so I feel like, even after 26 years, there's still more work to do. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to keep going. That's what keeps me hungry and keeps me wanting to keep elevating and growing and still enjoying what I do. Still enjoying working out new material and entertaining the masses and stuff like that. So, and I'll be able to take what I, compiled in this 26 years worth of work and bring it to, there's still millions of people who have never heard of me, millions of people who don't know that I'm a part of this game, and so to be able to bring my energy, my talents, and put it into other forms of television, film, stuff like that, that's to me makes it, it's gonna make it amazing and great, give me a sense of gratitude to be able to share it. So yeah.
So my request, Benji, is you used to do this all the time, and I used to love it. When you did you tell our preacher contain, give me that preacher one.
Oh man, yo, I came real close to doing it tonight.
Yeah, I was waiting on it.
Yeah, shout out to, I was doing my opener, what I'm saying, he touched on something. I was like, you know what, shout out to B Titty, Cleveland's own. He started talking about preachers in Atlanta, because Atlanta, he calls the Bible Belt County as preaching, and they do that. He was talking about how they say turn to the neighbor. That preacher, man, I used to be able to say, picture a preacher, just a cool church, keep it real, pastor, amen, church. I want to say right now, without further ado, don't look now, but I do believe, amen, that there's some hoes in this house. Amen, if you see them, point them out. Or I used to really put a preacher in the pulpit, and he could tell you a yin-yang twin, man. He'd be like, the songwriter said, from the windows to the walls, and until the sweat dropped down my balls. Oh, skeet, motherfucker. Oh, skeet, goddamn. Amen. That is a word from on high that I wanted to share with all of you, especially those lovely ladies in the front with the small waist and the big hole behind. I love it. I'm going ahead.
I love it.
Oh, man.
Hey, Benji, man, shout out to your opening that was tonight, man, and give a quick shout out, man.
Yes, sir. Shout out to B Titty, man, from Cleveland, man. Super funny brother, more than a great brother. He's a great comedian, and he's on the up and up. Real funny guy, and shout out to Atlanta, man, for coming out, showing me so much love. Uptown has always shown me love, man. It's just been an outpouring of love, and it just made me understand and continue to know and understand and recognize that this is home. It feels like home. The hospitality that they've shown, you could tell they came to have a good time, and I just hope that I was able to deliver.
100%, man. 100%. They've been clamoring for you, man. So I was glad when I reached out to you. You responded right away.
Yes, sir.
We made a deal happen just like that, man. And we're excited about that because, Benji, I don't know if you know, man. There's only 5 black-owned comedy clubs left in the United States, man. There's only 5 of us left. Yeah. So it means a lot when comedians such as yourself, man, reach back out and still support. Because let's just face it, some of them don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them preach pro-black, but they don't hear back.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It's a detriment to our community because it's a team effort, on both sides to keep black entertainment alive, black comedy clubs thriving, not just alive but thriving. And I didn't hesitate, would never hesitate. Atlanta, truthfully is to me one of the birthplace of Kiki, helping develop it. Shout out to people like the Skull Bubbles of the world who helped me to further develop Kiki when she was in her beginning stages as a character. And we would do a Kiki on Maury Povich show, trying to look for a baby daddy. And he was very instrumental, so I'll never forget him and what he's done. So many people who's come through Uptown that has played a huge part in my development, just not as a comedian, but as a person. People like Nard Holston, who was a great comedian and a supporter. He was always encouraging to me. I was always excited to do when he would host, because I knew he made me feel like, who are you introducing? Ed Murphy? He was so amazing. I always looked at him as the Jay-Z of comedy because he walked around with an air, a swagger, and he was to me Mr. Atlanta. And then you had like the Shouty Shouties and Dirty South. Shouts out to her and her family. Rest in peace. I recall her. Always, sometimes when I didn't feel like it, being tired or something, just traveling or whatever, she'll go out and her energy alone and make me say, man, I gotta bring it, do the ladies, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she would bring it. Shout out to people like Tyler Craig. I would sit in back at the comedy club at Uptown and just watch him take a crowd, put it in the palm of his hands. Joke number one. I go from joke number one all the way to joke number 12. And one of my fondest memories was watching him, do the back, there's so many great comedians. Atlanta is just like a farming ground for comedic greatness. And so Uptown was just a home. You go to Uptown, I was always like that. From 03, man, back in Bucket, I recall myself like, you go into, I felt like, man, Mom, I made it, because, that you want to be great, you want to grow in this game, you gotta go through Uptown. Uptown Comedy Corners to me is just, that's why I gotta always come back. No matter how, I can say this with my whole heart, no matter how big that God allows me to get in this game, I can't wait to continue to come back to Uptown, because I feel like everything that I accomplished in my life, in my career, you want to run home. I feel like I'm running home to show Mom, guess what happened to me? I want to come back and be able to share all the accolades and anything that God blessed me to receive. I want to come back and share it. People like Uptown deserve that. Atlanta deserve it. So I want to be able to come back and just share it with them, because they played a huge role in planting all them seeds, believing in me, keep coming out, supporting, coming out to Uptown. Not just me, any comedians. We just had Michael Collier in Uptown, and people kept telling me how much they've enjoyed it. Every comedian comes. We want the people to continue to come back, and they keep supporting all of Atlanta, man, greater Atlanta, all around the surrounding areas. The more you keep supporting, the more we're gonna keep coming back and giving that love right back.
So, appreciate that, man. We appreciate you, man. This is Sit Down Uptown with my man Benji Brown. All right, so about that. Sit Down Uptown with my man Benji Brown. Appreciate the brother.
Appreciate you.